Good afternoon. We are joined by women's beach volleyball assistant coach Bella Aloese. Coach,
Mm,
thanks for joining us today.
Thank you for having me.
Hey, incredible year, state title, something that this finally got over the bump and sitting at the top of the hill. You've now been on both sides, right? Having been a player here in 2014 to 2016, and now as an assistant coach. What has that experience been like, especially considering you understand what these athletes are going through throughout the year?
It has been a really humbling experience. Seriously, I love, yes. And it makes me think, back on my days, I was super hard on myself. And then now
Mm,
coming as a coach, I'm just like, you don't have to be like that.
mm,
What you do is good enough. And, we're always learning from our mistakes. Any kind of
mm.
failures we have, we're kind of just working through them. So it's been very humbling, but also super rewarding. I love being there for these young women and I love being a part of their journey, especially so early on in their lives, but before their lives really just is about to begin.
Sure,
Mhm.
absolutely. And it's incredible how much effect or influence a coach can have on any athlete. I mean, we're all one-time student athletes, and I still consider my coach as a second mom. I still, to this day, I
Mhm.
talk to her. I've been out of college since 2000. I still talk to her probably once a week.
Mhm.
So
Understandable.
hear that experience that you've gone through this year and sharing all that with each player is incredible.
Uh-huh.
Coach Lester talks highly about your energy and that spark that you provide for the team. She's very enthusiastic when she talks about you.
Mhm.
Can you tell me more about that and how you yourself immerse yourself in that role?
Yeah, I think Kim really stems that from when I was a player because I was just that fiery, like gritty, like I just like everything was loud for me. Whenever I scored or whenever my teammates scored, I just like always had that. So that competitive spirit, I think that's where that stems from.
Mm,
And then obviously when I see the girls on there on playing and doing their thing, I'm just like,
sure.
yeah. Was like, yeah, that's that's that fiery thing. That's like I'm cheering for them. And I think for me, especially coming kind of like a little late in the season for me, I just want to be like their biggest cheerleader and kind of
Sure.
just show them like my side of the competitiveness and how I've always been since I was 18 and now I'm 29 and all that and still like being that positive cheerleader for them. So yeah. Mhm.
Absolutely. Once again, we are joined by Bella Aloese, assistant coach for the women's beach volleyball over at Mesa College.
Mhm.
That's interesting. You say that. It makes me think as well, as far as what this team has gone through
Mhm.
throughout the year. A little bit of a slow start, battling with COVID,
Mhm.
you know, and then the season's long, right? Season's long. You go through ups and downs. You go through the dailies of practice and lifting and obviously of course having to also balance the educational part of the whole thing. So I think I am now truly understanding what Coach Lesser talks about, you coming in at the right time and being that
Mhm.
plug
Yeah.
to get these guys above that hump in order
Mhm.
to get that
Mhm.
title. And then you can take a look at in any discipline or any sport that
Absolutely.
gets the title. They always need that one factor, and I think you're an important part of that. So that's amazing. Um, what do you think made this team special this year? Like, what was it about them that again was able to get to top of the mountain and claim that state title?
Uh-huh. So this team, it's kind of funny because to me that's a loaded question.
Huh?
Because there's just so much specialness, or like there's just this was such a special group. I would say the first thing off the hand is how loose they show up.
Mm,
They are not like they know they're good, but they don't put any kind of pressure on themselves when they are faced with competition.
mm,
They just know that they're good and they rely on their skill alone in order to get them to success.
mm,
So there's just no pressure whenever you see them. It's not even like the intensity. Sometimes the cheering, they'll do something amazing and then it's just like, okay, I'm just like, and me and Kim were like, what? You just
mm.
did like something super crazy. It was, outstanding. And then they will just not, they're just like, yeah, this is what we do. And then they kind of just move forward with it. They're just so loose. They don't feel any pressure from me and Kim. For the most part, they're just themselves. Um, a second thing I feel like a good factor about them is that they're able to kind of like the way that they have fun with each other in practice is really amazing to see. They'll be talking to each other, they're talking trash, but it's never like unfriendly. It's always like kind of just funny just to keep things light. And I think that's just something that's really made this group special, or they just don't kind of take it serious to the fact where they feel like a win in volleyball like dictates their life. They're just like there to have fun. And yeah, so
No, that's a great answer.
it's
And
yeah.
I've talked to Kim quite a bit this year, talking about the ups and downs of throughout
Yeah.
the year. And one
Mhm.
of the things that she always stressed was the fact that when these guys play the Mesa volleyball way, I mean, it's
Yes.
just play loose, play your game, play what you know how to do. They're unstoppable.
They
They
are.
really are.
Absolutely.
And sometimes it's more of those things where it's like they create problems when there isn't any. But when you play loose, then you're dominating.
Absolutely.
Going back, I mean, you've been around the program and Coach Lester for a while. What's
Hmm.
the one thing that you've learned being around her?
Yeah.
Some of the lessons, both on and off the court.
Yeah. Well, Kim was the kind of person you kind of keep around for the rest of your life. And like, and the what you were talking to me about, you and your coach, me and Kim have had that since since I moved on from Mesa. And then coming back, I just realized that she's just a more amazing person than she was when I first coached.
Yeah.
I think having her around has definitely taught me to one, she always tells me this too. She always like keep your family first.
Mhm.
Okay. And then kind of everything kind of draws from that. And she knows like I just started my family, me and my husband. And so she has a family. And so that's just one thing she told me from the get, like keep your family first. Everything else, will I don't know, kind of figure itself out. And then two is like her morals and her ethics is just always first. I think whatever Kim preaches, she definitely practices what she preaches. And she does do that with me and even with the girls. So she's had that kind of mentality ever since I've known her. So everything is just about doing the right thing. And like she runs her program that way too. So
Sure.
she's, raising, good women as they're coming through her program. So yeah. Mhm.
Absolutely. And one of the things I've always known about Kim is she's consistent.
Oh, yeah.
With consistency comes success of the program, right?
Mhm.
And you put those things together, you gain
Mhm.
accomplishments like what you guys did this year.
Mhm.
Let me ask you a question about this. Assistant coaches kind of have a different, role, different jobs within the team. Um, is there something that differs, for example, how a player can approach you first before going to the head coach? Is that something that happens quite a bit within the program?
I wouldn't say quite a bit, but it has happened a little bit where it's not anything serious but it'll be like something like suggestions wise. Sometimes I feel like they think like, oh, I don't want Kim to get mad at me, so they'll come to me, girls. So in that way, I feel like I am a buffer sometimes between the girls and then Kim, and then sometimes very little do I do it for Kim and the players
Yeah.
because she's just so upfront with them. But I feel like when players come to me, it's always just like, hey, do you think we can do this? Hey, do you
Hmm.
think we can do that? Just some things that they kind of don't want to get like bashed for if Kim
Sure.
says no.
Sure.
But for the most part, I don't know why they use me because they have a good relationship with Kim
Mhm.
anyway. But sometimes I don't know. Sometimes I'm just like kind of like a middle
Yeah.
person for that. And then also I do feel there's points where they're playing where they don't want to disappoint a head coach or something like that because I know I felt like that. So
Mhm.
I would kind of go to like the assistant coach. So it's kind of just like I don't know, kind of like a what is it, like a liaison kind of
Yeah.
communicator. I guess that's what I
Or
am.
a
Yeah.
buffer first before he goes to the top. Or sometimes suggestion. Well, you know what? I would reward that this way.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
Kim
Exactly.
doesn't.
Yeah.
So
Mhm.
Kim doesn't lose her mind when you
Exactly.
approach something.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Hmm.
Hey, again, first year as an assistant coach at Mass,
Hmm.
right? Moving towards next year.
Hmm.
This year, obviously, learning phase, right? Learning new things. Being that was your first year. What
Hmm.
do you think are some of the things that you learned this season that you're going to bring next season, but even better?
I think some of the things I learned this season, especially learning under Kim, is that I need to I would say I need to be a little bit more vocal in the way I coach, whereas, because when I came in, obviously, I came in the middle season, so my main thing was being there for them and
Mhm.
being their main cheerleader whenever I could. Now I do want to implement more like knowledgeable skills, like how Kim does, and like, be a little bit more vocal and more confident in my coaching, especially this is the highest, level and age group I've ever, coached. I'm always like high school and beneath. So just coming into my own and coming into more confidence in the way I assist and the way I coach the girls, especially them at this age and at this level. So doing that, and then I think that's it. Yeah.
Again, once again, we're joined by Bella Aloese, a member of the San Diego Mesa College Olympian team 2014-2016, now an assistant coach for the state champs.
Mhm.
Bella, thank you for joining us today.
So,
Again, I'm going to repeat now. I understand what Coach Lesser was talking about as far as the energy and the enthusiasm that you bring. And again, that is something that is part of the equation in order to claim a title that is big as that. So once again, congratulations, job well done. And I have a feeling we're going to be talking a whole lot more this upcoming year.
absolutely. Thank you, Bo.
Coach, thank you.
Mhm.